is on now.
All right, so Ari just played the Black Man Feeling to Party, and as we've already disclosed this morning, he's Mr. Dark and Lovely. All right, so I'm not surprised.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No, you don't.
I'm not surprised that he played that song.
No, I'm blushing. Oh my god!
Look at you!
No,
Look at you!
Don't.
If you ask see the boy's face.
Oh my god! Oh my god! She made my entire year.
Why, please? All right, so we are in our Talk to Me segment, and generally, this is a segment that we leave open to you, the listeners, to raise whatever it is that you wish to, right? But I know that somebody was calling before. I'm not sure if it's in relation to what we were talking about at the time, Baliso and Battery and land being sold and why it was being sold and all that stuff, you know. So if you wish to raise that point or to raise your point, you can do so in this segment, right? But to kick things off, we have an interesting story that we came across, right? So Hermes heir Nicholas Puish, I looked up the pronunciation just before coming on and I still forget it, but I think it's Puish, right?
So what's the pronunciation for the brand?
Puish Hermes.
You sure?
Oh gosh, look it up. Okay, try not to embarrass me on stage.
Go ahead.
Right? I think it's Hermes. And Nicholas Puish to award 51-year-old gardener $11 billion fortune. All right. So I'm reading this story from St. Vincent Times, but it's an international story, so you can find it on various news sites. So 81-year-old billionaire Nicholas Puish, son of the. All right. So we have a caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, I think I'm a little off key here, so but just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I was calling earlier to a little notation that I found on King Jaja of Opoto. It is a book printed by the Department of History, the University of the West Indies in the Cape Hill campus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, King Jaja was supposed to be leaving. He left Accra in Africa in 1885, and he was supposed to be settled on Balizo. When he left the Porto, 1885. Good. But when the owner of the island discovered what an important person he was, and there's a lot of controversy surround him, he withdrew the offer for King Jaja to go and live on Balizo. I just picked it up and I just thought I'd mention it.
Okay.
If you care to double check yourselves, it's King Jaja of Opoto and this book was printed by the Department of History at the University of the West Indies.
Okay, isn't there a King Jaja's house, or was King Jaja the one who stayed at Cobblestone or something?
Right, that's the same thing. But the thing is that Balizo was owned, privately owned, long before 1885, when he was supposed to come down here.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, neighbor.
I just thought I would mention that to you.
All right, sure, no problem. All right, thanks.
Okay.
All right, so
Hermes.
It's Hermes, right?
Hermes.
Listen, I ain't going through all of that with you, yes? It's Hermes and
there's no H. It's Hermes. It's French.
All right. So we continuing. So the 81-year-old billionaire of the iconic fashion dynasty. All right, am I going to get this story out? Let's see. Joshua, morning.
Hi, good morning. It's me again. It's me again. You know, I have suggested from time to time that you invite Dr. Adrian Fraser as a guest on your show. He was my history teacher.
Okay.
There's no secret surrounding Baliso and any of the other islands. I just Googled Baliso and I got all the information that you guys are asking for. It's right there on the internet. If you have $30 million, you could buy the island today.
No. The question that we were asking is, why was it even initially sold? And when was it sold?
Yes, and this is why I am suggesting that you invite Dr. Fraser to come on, because, again, my not too favorite person, Dr. Gonzalez, reads, and he said Vincentians do not read. All of the information that we need is right there available. But for those who don't read, again, I would implore you, invite Dr. Fraser. And Dr. Fraser, I make no apologies because I know you could do it. For those of us who don't read, he would give us all the information that we need.
Okay. All right. Sure.
And me go on that. Yeah, me go on. That's all.
Oh, this is you
That's all for
speaking
today.
dialect, Joshua? Oh, wow. Thank you.
What it is,
I
I
know
have
you
no
don't normally
intention
speak it, that is why.
to speak dialect with.
Yeah.
So
okay.
only when we call your people, me could talk it, you know.
All right, cool, no problem. All right, later, Joshua. Thanks. All right, so this story says that he of the Hermes dynasty, he is orchestrating a strategy. I will stop it. Orchestrating a strategy suggestion saga that involves adopting his 51-year-old gardener. Piyush, unmarried and without children, plans to legally designate his former gardener and handyman from a modest Moroccan family as his rightful heir, as reported by the Swiss publication Tribune de Genève. Listen, my French teacher is not going to be too happy with me this morning. It's not Geneva. That's how you pronounce it?
Geneva.
Geneva. All right. It's been a while, Ari.
It's okay. Me and Church on you.
The unorthodox approach to pass on his immense wealth and real estate properties to his gardener has sparked intense speculation. Piyush, a fifth-generation descendant of Thierry Hermes, I think I pronounced Thierry correctly, who laid the foundation of the luxury fashion house in 1837, commands a considerable share in the now $220 billion valued company, ranking among Switzerland's wealthiest individuals with an estimated worth of 10.3 billion to 11.4 billion. Allegedly, Piyush has initiated legal proceedings supported by a formidable legal team to formalize the gardener's adoption, which forms a crucial part of his revised estate arrangements. All right. The gardener is reportedly married to a woman from Spain with 2 children of their own and stands to inherit a significant portion of Piyush's fortune, which includes acquiring substantial properties in Marrakesh, Morocco, Montreux, Switzerland, valued at 5.9 million. Hermes did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Delving into Piyush's history with Hermes provides a glimpse into the motivation behind this atypical choice for his heir. A bitter rift engaged in 2014 when LVMH, I think that's Louis Vuitton something, anyway, a rival luxury conglomerate, acquired a substantial stake in Hermes, sparking an acrimonious battle within the family. So Piyush's departure from the company's board amid this turmoil signaled irreparable discord with his kin. And I found this story interesting. You know why? I think that there are many times when people have acquired property or they have acquired assets, many times that people are of the opinion that the automatic persons to inherit such property or such assets would always be family members. In many cases, or in some cases, these are family members who you don't get along with. These are family members who have never been a part of, let's say, the struggle or your process in terms of acquiring such property and such assets, or family members who just don't see the value in hard work. And, you know, like we always say sometimes here in Vinci, there's a scramble for deadlift. And, you know, I can actually commend this particular person. Now, of course, I'm hoping that he's of sound mind in making this particular decision. But who knows, maybe the gardener was actually one of those persons who was there for him, you know, in an emotional capacity, who may have been around for him during particular periods in his life, someone who he actually considers a friend, right? So Piyush has he's not married, he doesn't have a wife, and he doesn't have a child or children. And I am generally happy to see when inheritance passes on to people who have actually been there for whoever it is that they're benefiting from. That's just my 20 piece on it, right?
I feel like we're done at this communication thing and start garden because boy,
$11 billion, you know, $11 billion. And, you know, it's a thing for me when I look at sometimes with society where you see so many parents working hard. Grandparents would have worked hard, great grandparents would have worked hard, and they pass down things to the children. And the children tend to squander them because the reason why is that they don't value or they don't show the same appreciation for what hard work means. there's a lot of entitlement that is happening, right? A lot of entitlement that is happening because mommy and daddy have worked hard. I don't need to work hard because in any event, I am going to inherit this or that, right? And that is why I've always thought that having a will is so important. You see a lot of abandoned properties around. And the reason why you have so many abandoned properties is because no wills were actually left to designate who is supposed to take control of who possesses a deed for these properties, right? So, I think for persons, just to say it, we always heard when Pan and Campbell was around and I learned the word intestate. He always spoke about leaving wills, etc. And we learned the importance of these things. But leaving a will, and I think raising children to not have this entitled sense of feeling that mommy and daddy have earned and automatically it passes on to me just because we are family.
It's very interesting that I remember watching the House of Gucci, and there has been pushback about whether or not it's factual or not, but it seems to be factual that in 1993 or 1995 there has not been a living member of the Gucci family involved in House of Gucci.
Yep.
That hurt my heart.
Yep.
You could imagine you walk your whole life for something, you're carrying on your family name, and then you're now at a point because of family disputes or whatever disagreements you may have, you have lost everything. Well, not everything, but
no
the entire family-owned business is gone.
But okay, so with this point that you're making, right? I know that that persons tend to speak a lot of it's not family inheritance, we call it. It's a term of passing down to your children, but
Trust fund, baby.
No, not trust fund. It's a different term. Oh gosh, it escapes me at this time. It will come to me eventually, maybe after the program. But anyways, there are times when I think of family-owned businesses, right? And I can understand. So like me, I always say with my business, this is what I started because I've had a passion for it. Now, my dilemma at this point in time is that should something happen to me, I don't know who to pass the business on to because at this point in time, it's just me alone. And I've tried to expand, but that's another different story altogether in one, right? But if I have to find somebody to pass it on to, I don't know. No, I'm not of the opinion that just because I have a passion for it means that my child, my descendants, or whoever, family member, my niece or whoever, doesn't necessarily have to continue in my family tradition. What I could say is that, and when you look at it with Oti and his sons, right? I don't know how many of them have actually become carpenters, involved in carpentry, but they have used his assets. They have been able to develop businesses of their own. And that is what I don't mind, right? Yeah. So I don't necessarily think that a child has to walk directly in the footsteps of their parents. But I think that having that money, they can do something else with it, but just not sit back and think that just because mommy and daddy has means that it's okay for me to have. Right? So as I'm making the point that the point of inheritance, leaving wills, etc., designating who it is you're going to give, but it always, in my opinion, should be a case where somebody who is deserving of it should be the one to get it, whatever it is.
So the what's up saying?
Joshua, I can't adopt you. I don't really have much to pass on right now. Okay. All right. Right. So this was in relation to Bali. So Joshua is correct. The affairs. So we're going back to the Bali and Batway's story. So Evans is saying Joshua is correct. The affairs of those two islands are a secret. If you guys know or may have heard something speak of it, Baliso and Batway should be in the hands of us as Vinces. Okay. Yeah. All right, let me see if I could read this on air. All right, so no. All right, so any other random thing you want to talk about in Ari in relation to, well, anything? This is talk to me.
something that I saw on Facebook yesterday. Someone I jokingly posted being not having a being a vehicle owner and catching van is very humbling. It's hard, it's hard.
It is so hard, Van
It's
Harry.
hard.
How much where you live?
I
Just
hate
right this
van.
so
I hate van.
small up yourself. That's
I
all you
hate
have to do.
work.
Small up yourself.
I love AC. I love convenience. Listen, I love convenience. But anyways, somebody made a comment and saying that it's easier to keep a hand on the pulse of the people. And it got me thinking, in this technological age, do leaders need or influential people need to physically interact with persons to understand what their thoughts are, what their views are, how they feel, what they're going through, when there's social media where people tend to post all the business daily? Is it still necessary? That's something I was thinking about for the past. Ever since I saw the comment, I've been thinking about that. What do you think about the topic?
So the thing of it is that I am in agreement, right? I think when you talk about the van situation, I find that whenever it is something is wrong with my vehicle and I have to walk through, I have to walk through Tokyo or walk to Tokyo, wherever it is I'm catching my van. I tend to interact a lot more with persons, like persons who I haven't seen for a very long time, because of the fact that I'm walking through town or walking to wherever. There are more conversations that I tend to have, right? As opposed to just jumping in my vehicle and driving home. And all you're doing is just waving and tooting hand to people, it's not the same type of interaction. When it comes to political leaders, those with political aspirations, there are many times when we say that there's a disconnect with them and society. Similar reason, they're jumping in their vehicles, they're going into their offices. It's basically a straight road. Sometimes you don't necessarily see them walking through Kingston. Or if you do, sometimes they're walking at a brisk pace, either to get to a meeting or because they don't want to be disturbed, right? In order for you to know what is happening, you sort of have to be on the ground with people, right? I know sometimes that many try to walk through the community so that they can speak with persons. Sometimes many would go at the rum shops, something that the PM said that I wasn't in agreement with, but he made the point. So they have to find a way to have the air of the people. And there are so many times, as you said, you like the convenience of jumping in your vehicle in your AC. Do you feel as if you're still on the same ground with the rest of us? Because you use the word humbling in describing having to catch a van with us, with the common folks. I know you didn't say common folks, but it could almost come across like that.
Right, humbling. It is humbling. Because when you meet convenience and life feels a lot, you feel like you're on cloud nine in a sense. Like, okay, today is going well. I can do this, I can do that, and then you remember, okay, now I had to bring down the feeling a bit because I have to meet all these inconveniences. I met a lot of inconveniences yesterday that I didn't like. At all. But then I think it's a personality thing because you and I walking through town completely different. I don't want nobody talking to me. I put in my headphones, I go in town for one purpose, I leave. I don't need anybody talking to me.
You know, people walking through town with headphones is annoying me.
You hear? Why you need to talk to me? I will listen to my music and go again.
It have anything to do with me talking to you, I think that sometimes when you're walking, there's a distraction. Like, are you actually paying attention to your surroundings?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it just annoys me sometimes because
I
think that you're
mission.
sort of tuned out.
I have one mission.
Yeah,
get to where I gotta go and go home.
Yeah. All right. So we have a call. Okay, 1 minute. Hi. All right. Yeah, but I actually don't mind it though. I think as well too is because I enjoy being a passenger. I don't mind being a passenger in my own vehicle, but I actually don't mind it. And I always used to say, so when I lived at Bocament, because of where I lived in Bocament, right by the main road there, so I used to take any van to go home, right? Whether it's a Barley van, whether it was Leyu, Barley, or Chateau. But the interesting rides were always in the Chateau vans. because it's so much stuff they used to hear in those vans, and I always said that I wanted to write a book about my van experiences or van stories, because these persons are community based, so they would say a lot of things. I always found it humorous, but I don't mind. I don't mind. I like the break. All right, so Evans is saying it is necessary to eyeball a person when you interact with them. Agreed. If you get a better understanding of what is being communicated, young man, you need to be more social. I ain't calling no name. He said Ari though, huh? Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. And you're talking about communication, having the pulse on the people, even with our devices, like the same topic that we talked about on Tuesday, where you're going out to dinner and everybody on the phone, people not making eye contact anymore. You are there in a social setting, but yet you're on your phone. Like, so what was the point of getting together?
Some interactions very draining. I remember I had lost my AirPods at some point, and I was walking out of a parking lot, and somebody met me. Hey, Miss Shasson, how you doing? You good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Shame for the cheeks.
Between me and you, I hear your uncle dead. That is true.
Oh, yeah.
Now, even if that was the case, that's why I don't like random interactions with people, because a lot of it ain't even like it ain't even coming from a good place where people trying to check in on you. So I'll be polite. I'll say good afternoon. I'll keep it pushing. I don't believe in the whole smart talk. Even if somebody asks me for a favor, I don't believe in, hey, how are you? Like, just tell me what. Tell me what you want.
I agree with that. I tend to don't ask me how are you if you're not interested in knowing how I am. If you want the favor, just get right to the point. But there's something that you said there, Ari, in terms of being around people and people being draining. And I'm very much in agreement with you. I tend to find that with me, like I have my quota, my limitations of how much interaction I need to have with people. Like I would go into town and I'd be like, you know what? This is enough people in for today. Let me go back into my house, right? Because the thing of it is that some people have this kind of a draining energy, like a negative energy. Or even sometimes it's just cases where they're going on and on and on and on and on. And you're not in the mood for it. There are times when you feel to be interactive and sociable, but there are other times when you're just on a mission and you want to complete that mission and so forth. So I know for me, there are times when I'm like, I've had enough people interaction for today. Let me go back into my bubble. Let me see something here before we continue. Try counting how many times you ask someone how you doing and listen to them or pretend to listen. Trevor, for me, if you're not interested in finding out exactly how I'm doing, don't ask the question. I hate to hear it when I'm walking into town, like, how are you? And you're walking off at the same speed. Like, what was the point of asking? I don't need for you to ask it as a formality. Some people say, how are you? In one sentence. Very next question, very next sentence is they start with something else. So it means you never really cared, so don't do it. Just don't do it.
Well, we are already a bit over time there with the community dateline. So we're going to hop into the community dateline right now, and then we'll be back to sign out shortly.
WEFM.